The full range of iPhone 12s are now out in the wild, and videos, reviews, first impressions are probably flooding your subscription folder. Maybe even someone you know has got one of the iPhone 12s or 12 Pros, but now is a really good time with the recent price drop to have a look at the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Full disclosure, I've been using the 11 Pro Max as my second phone for just over a year. Given the fact that the iPhone 12s were delayed by 2 or 3 months, which is a bit weird and unheard of Apple, although it is my second phone, I still use it a lot and I still use it daily for watching video, recording video, taking pictures, scrolling through Instagram and your usual day-to-day things. So after a year, give or take, how has the 11 Pro Max aged? How does it stack up against Android 2020 flagships? And most importantly, how does it stack up against the iPhone 12 Pro Max? When it was announced, Apple said this had the strongest glass ever on an iPhone, which is to be expected. Year after year, there has to be these incremental improvements. The glass being one of them. Now, on the back, that might be true. This is the first model they had with the frosted glass, and it still looks nice today, really nice. But on the front, it's different. Now, it might be shatter resistant, it might be better against drops, but it's scratched so easily. I mean, more easy than any phone I've ever had. A lot of the scratches on here, I don't know how they happened. I look after my phone, I haven't dropped it from any height, it's never scraped across the floor. I never put it in my pocket with any keys or bank cards, it's always just in a pocket on its own. Sometimes I use a case and sometimes I don't. But with hindsight, I really should have picked up a screen protector, and that's the first time I've ever said that. Usually I am dead against screen protectors, and when we're being told this is the strongest glass ever on a phone, I think you should be able to disregard screen protectors. That's a bold statement. However, these scratches are pretty deep and I have no idea where they come from. Some of them even look like cracks at first glance. The back glass, however, still looks pristine and looks as good as it did on day one, so that's an improvement. If only they could bring that improvement to the front. If you do pick one up, get a screen protector. In terms of the rest of the device, durability wise, this has held up well. As I said, the glass on the back still looks new, there's no scratches, there's no scuffs, and it's still the same uniform colour of the matte glass, so you don't have to worry about that matte finish rubbing off, wearing off in your pocket. It still looks the same all over. The stainless steel rails have still kept the colour as well, there's no discoloration and there's no major scratches. Under a microscope, with a fine-tooth comb, you might find the odd micro scratch or hairline scratch, but in general, it still looks as good as new, and there's no silver bits coming from underneath. It's not like the colour's rubbed off or scratched off or anything. So it's a solid, durable design. The design of the phone is starting to get pretty old. I mean, this is the third phone with the same kind of design to it. The first with the 3 cameras on the back, granted, and the first with the frosted glass, yes. But the curved sides, the notch, we've seen that now on the 11s, the 10Ss, and of course the 10. So it would be nice to see a better change with the 12. However, we didn't get that, we just got the flat sides, which is a bit of a change, but the notch is the same size and the camera is exactly the same, apart from a bit bigger on the Pro Max, but exactly the same as the 12 Pro. I guess this is Apple's design language though, and to change it too much would make it unrecognisable. It was a big hoo-ha over the first time they got rid of the forehead and the chin with the home button, and they first introduced this design on the 10. I imagine we'll see this stick around for a long time to come. Who knows? The iPhone 13 might surprise me and get rid of the notch, or even shrink the notch, hopefully. But a notch that size in 2020 does feel dated. However, you're not going to get rid of the notch if you go for the 12, so it's not really a disadvantage with the 11 over the 12. Just worth noting. The battery life on the 11 Pro Max is a difficult one. So I spent some time deliberating this because it's been really good, solid. This is the first phone I actually didn't worry in the slightest about the battery life when I first got it. It would easily get me through a day and a half, even up to 2 days if I pushed it, but I never really got to that whole low battery power saver mode because the battery would just last and last. So I always charged it in the morning and it would get me through way past the night to the following day, and I'd be like 30 to 40% ready to go again, but I always charge it and make sure it's 100% before I left the house. And that was true even through the iOS 14 beta, which I had as soon as it was announced, right up until the official release, when I went down to the normal standard iOS 14 instead of the beta, and that's when I've noticed a difference in the battery. However, that's not been the case. I've noticed a substantial difference in the battery since the iPhone 12 came out, and I'm sure, maybe I'm just being paranoid, but that is not a coincidence. If you've got an iPhone 11 Pro Max and you are watching this, let me know if the battery has been any different at all. Now, just before we come on to the iOS 14 in more detail, I just want to give you a thank you for watching this video, and if you're enjoying it so far, please give it a thumbs up, as it really helps, and also subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. iOS 14 brought some of the biggest changes I've ever seen to the iPhone, but it is still iOS. Yes, it's nice to have widgets on the home screen, but you still feel restricted in doing so. You still can't have blank spaces without a workaround to see your wallpaper. And you have these automatic folders in the app library, because it's not an app drawer, they have to be different than Android, right? Which you can't change the name of and you can't change the layout of. It's all what Apple thinks you're going to use when you think you're going to use it, and it's all in folders that Apple deem the same. But I don't want my banking app where Apple says my banking app should be. It'd be nice to be able to know where things are, but because it is automatic suggestions, it's different every time and it's hard to find things. So I found myself never really using the app library. I'll just pull down and search. It's just a lot easier to do that than it is to do anything else, like go to the app library or set up folders of what I need. And that's pretty much it. Now, camera's a big one. One of the best reasons for upgrading the phone is the improved camera quality. I think we all take more pictures now than we ever have, and we're taking more and more pictures all the time and sharing them in more and more different places. The camera quality on a phone is really important. Now, hats off to Apple, because the iPhone 11 Pro Max still takes as good pictures as a lot of phones released this year, and the differences between the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 11, the photos and videos are very similar. Now, on the 12 Pro Max, you are getting physical improvements to the camera, a larger sensor for better low light, the LiDAR sensor, and a different way of doing image stabilization. Yet, if you look at the comparisons, the differences are few and far between. The iPhone 11 still takes great photos, and at the end of the day, anywhere you share your photos, they're going to be compressed. Whether that's Google Photos, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, they will always be compressed in one way, shape or form. So don't put too much weight on the fact that there's a tiny difference. If you blow up the pictures and you're looking for the details, of course there's going to be a difference. The difference in the camera between the 11 Pro Max and the iPhone 10 or iPhone 8, anything before then, is going to be better than the difference between the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 12. So bear that in mind. The microphone quality as well is always something that is better and has been better on iPhones. My iPhone was always the camera of choice when recording videos for YouTube. It's literally everything you need in a pocket to get set up and running. So whatever you're doing with your phone, guaranteed you'll be happy with the cameras on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. But nothing on there will disappoint. Now, a lot of it does come down to personal preference. See ASBYT's cherry tomato nose and rosy cheeks. I know he's not a fan, but the details and the quality are good. Colours, not so much, but as I say, that's personal choice. So in conclusion, is the iPhone 11 Pro Max still worth it? It is a great contender in today's world, especially now that the price has finally dropped because the iPhone 12 is on the shelves. To me, there are three main things to consider when you're buying this phone. 1, are you happy with the camera quality? 2, do you need flat edges? Do you need the latest design? And 3, how long are you going to keep the phone for? Because Apple are notorious for updating their older phones. Now, everything going back to the iPhone 6s is just updated to iOS 14. So the iPhone 11 is still going to be the iPhone 11 Pro Max is still going to do way into the future. It's only a year old and it's probably going to get software updates for the next 4 years. Now, if you're getting this phone through a carrier plan on your network, then you're probably going to be changing it in 2 years anyway, 3 years tops. So you're still going to be okay for software updates. And as I said before, the camera is great, it takes great photos. They're going to be fine for any social media, the TikTok, Facebook. Twitter, Instagram, whatever. And as for the A13 Bionic, it's a great chip that still holds its own. If you're playing the biggest games on your phone, it might struggle a little bit, but only a tiny, tiny bit. And over the next year or two, we might see bigger games and bigger apps, but this is a pro device, and the chipset there is, as Apple say, ahead of anything else on the market. So you're still going to be able to use Filmic Pro, you're still going to be able to play a lot of games on there, and with cloud gaming, that's less for the processor to worry about. So if you're in the market for a new phone, and it's got to be Apple, definitely consider this over the 12 Pro Max. You'd save yourself some money, and it's still a very good phone. Heck, put a case on it, and people might not even know the difference. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos coming soon. My name is Pedder, and I'm out.